Thank you for choosing CTN. And now, it's time with Herman and Sharron.
I love you.
Hi,
How are
everybody.
you? I like that Herman and Sharron.
Yeah, I know.
Don't you?
I don't think he says it quite that way,
Don't
but-
you love the English?
I do. I love to hear him talk.
Just they could read.
What happened to America anyway?
I don't know.
A lot of us were English people. We think we would have kept it, but we didn't.
They could read a boring phone book,
That's
and
right.
it sounds like they're reading a document. We have this guy. I just am blessed to have him whenever we
Yeah.
have him on. A Christian businessman. Let me just share
All
a little
kinds
about
of
him. Let me just
helpful
share.
information.
Let me just share a little about him. Bruce Brightman
Okay.
is the founder of Life Source Vitamins and the youngest of 7 children. He is 6
That would
foot
be fun.
4 inches in height, and he carries 2 guns with him constantly. These things right here. Okay, okay, yeah, but.
You wanted to hire him, right? For your
Yeah,
bodyguard?
I know, but he's
Not interested.
Yeah, but he's very wealthy, so I could not afford him. It was the pain of losing his father, Al Brightman, in 1992 to pancreatic cancer that motivated
one.
Bruce to start a nutrition company to help people become healthier. Isn't that a great idea? Motivated by not wanting it
That
to happen
happens
to
a
other
lot
people.
That
Yeah.
happens to a lot of people that
Absolutely.
we've had on. Yeah.
Life Source Vitamins is a Christ-centered company donating all the proceeds to Christian ministries. And I love one ministry that he absolutely loves and I love is Campus Crusade for Christ.
Yes.
I mean, that's one you have supported for.
A lot of years, yeah. Was the first one that we did, and we still do today, and love it. Different facets of their organization too. They have hundreds of spidered arms of all these organizations that we are just so proud to be part of.
Wow.
Very nice.
Today's program, there is vitamin confusion. And I have done nutrition shows since 1980. So we've done them for a long time. Just about 37 years, something like that, 36 years, 37. And we would be stopped, you know, Sharron goes shopping a lot and I follow her. And we would be stopped by people that know us or think they know us. I know you. And they would always say, well, what do you use, or what is the right vitamins to use, and you know, and how much do you take every day, and so forth. They'd put you through the drill. But today we're going to cover that, and Bruce, this is a real concern of yours too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why? I would imagine you that are in the business, this is just one of your businesses.
Yes.
How many businesses do you have?
A handful. Yeah.
And from California to here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So this question is probably being posed to you also.
It is. You know, it's the biggest question that we get. The most frequent question is, what do we take? Life Source has 300 wide products from A to zinc and everything in between. And what we hear all the time is, where do we start? And that's kind of our end to say, well, what are you taking now? Let's start throwing things away. We tell most people. And let's reformulate the plan, simplify it, get the body to a balance. Then the body can start healing itself. But if the body is not at balance, it's going to take calcium because it needs calcium. So where's it going to take your calcium? It's going to take it from your bones. If it needs something else, the body's resilient. It's going to take what it needs. But when it takes that, it leaves a hole in the bone, let's say, for the calcium. Now all of a sudden you have brittle bones. So hip fractures are higher as a result of it taking calcium from that bone. Now you fall as you age, and you cannot combat that hip point where you hit. So there becomes a fracture when it doesn't have to be a fracture. It could just hurt a little bit for a couple weeks and be a bone bruise, and it goes away. If it's weak, it becomes a fracture.
You gave me this material, and take a look at your screen, and I'm going to have Bruce look at our monitor, and the body, whenever I see this kind of thing, just marvels me. It does. Share, and this is just part of this list. This is number 12. Read that to us.
Well, first, let me just say real quick that God has created the most superior living system ever.
Yeah.
It's remarkable what he's done, and here's just some of his handiwork that I'll speak to, and it's on the screen right now. We have 60,000 miles of blood vessels in our bodies. Pretty amazing if you think about how far 60,000 miles that can go around the globe 2 times. Just in each of our bodies.
Wow.
Human bones are as strong as granite. So a matchbox-sized block of our bone can support 9 tons, which is equivalent to 18,000 pounds of weight, roughly 4 automobiles. If our brain was a computer, now listen to this one. This one's shocking to me more than the rest. It could perform 38,000 trillion operations per second, and 38,000 trillion is an actual number. I never knew this until I did some research. The world's most powerful supercomputer today is called the Blue Gene by IBM, and it can do 0.002 of what our brain can actually do. So our brain is, that much more powerful than the supercomputer that runs the military. It runs universities. It runs, all these operations all over the world, and it can't compare to our brain. Each day our blood travels 12,000 miles throughout our body, 4 times the distance from coast to coast.
Let's go to number 13.
That's amazing.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it's
it is
shocking.
Just, it is just, and I am overwhelmed whenever I see this. Number 13 on the screen, there it is.
Our eyes can distinguish about 10 million different colors. If it were a digital camera today, it would be a 576 megapixel camera. Today's phones, they're touting, are all the way up to a 12 megapixel camera. To tell you the difference. Our DNA, if it was uncoiled, it could reach 10 billion miles, or in other words, from here to Pluto and back. The human heart will pump 100,000 times per day, sending 2,000 gallons of blood surging through our bodies. Wow. Amazing, huh? Our lungs, the total length of our running airways through our 2 lungs is 1,500 miles.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, crazy. Our taste buds are completely replaced every 10 days. Our entire skin is completely replaced every 35 days.
Wow.
And that's just a few of God's handiwork.
That's why you look different than you did before you were here.
Yeah. Right.
I marvel at what God has given us. This is called the temple of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Right.
And we as Christians don't take care of it.
Right. Right. And for years, scientists, doctors, and other non-believers have been trying to figure out how is it that we have evolved from an ape or a tadpole into a human being that we are today. But what they're missing, they're non-believers, so they don't get it.
And they're very smart, but they're dumber than a doornail.
Right, right.
Yeah.
The hand of God himself has created us.
Yeah.
It cannot be explained. Can you explain our brain being more powerful than a supercomputer that takes up an entire football field, that runs organizations like the U.S. government? Our brain is more powerful than that? I mean, there is no explanation other than the good Lord has blessed us with an amazing body.
I think, and I read Randy Alcorn's book on heaven, and I agree with him that when we get our heavenly body, when we're with him for all eternity, all of this that really we're not even using a little dot on the head of a pen, that much of our abilities, that's going to be unlocked someday. And what you're just talking about on this statistics,
Right.
all of a sudden we'll go, that's me.
Right.
I'm using it now.
Yeah.
Now you say 10 years ago our food was more nutritious.
I believe that.
Yes, yeah. So with the food today, we reconstitute our soils, meaning we turn over the soil. And as plants grow, their job is to suck the nutrient out of the soil, which is kind of how it's all put together. You reconstitute that soil and use it, it becomes less nutritious, less nutritious, less nutrition. And they can't bring in this mega soil in the state of California where most of our stuff's grown to reconstitute this good soil with new soil. So that's part of the process. So the same tomato we eat today from 10 years ago is far different. It's
But they're altering our food too, aren't they?
Yeah.
More and more all the time.
Yeah, share that. Because
Yeah, there's
hydrogenated.
yeah, hydrogenated. That's just a way that they process food.
Yeah.
Our bodies don't deal with hydrogenated food. There's a hydroponics. It's the direct lights like we're sitting under now that are creating this food with they're trying to emulate the sun.
You can see that at Disney.
Right.
You ride through Disney, and
Yep.
that's the way they are making
Yeah.
cucumbers and so forth.
But you cannot duplicate the sun.
That's
Why? Because
right.
God made the sun. He didn't make the light bulb, right? God made the sun for all the earth to utilize the nutrients that come from the sun, which is vitamin D, supercharged vitamin D, which is millions of times stronger than a vitamin D that we can take. But because we don't get out in the sun, we're all vitamin D deficient, or 90% of us over 60. So
Now you said, I think it was you that said last time that the sun that you would enjoy outside, that it's better to let the sun go into your eyes. Mm-hmm. Why is that?
And what you do is you
Not
don't look
looking at the
directly
sun.
at the sun, but the sun hits its rays, so it's
Yeah.
hitting and it's going into your eyes and absorbing through your skin, and that's the way you're getting your vitamin D. And vitamin D helps your body process calcium. So you can't duplicate what the sun can do. You need a little bit of sun on your skin and a little bit on your face, and the warmth
What
of
do
the
you mean
sun,
by-
there's nothing like it.
What do you mean by a little bit? I mean,
15
how much
minutes.
Is
15
minutes a day.
Yeah.
Because everybody's stuck in an office building somewhere.
Right.
You know, how
in
do you
your
get
car, office building, yes. And with all the downside of the sun, they say, don't get in it, wear sunscreen. Sunscreen is so damaging, but that's a whole different topic. But I will say that if you can get 10 to 15 minutes a day, a couple times a week, and then you can supplementalize it as well, you're going to be totally fine.
Can you cover that statement just briefly? Sunscreen is so damaging.
Yeah, it's just the zinc oxide in it. They have studies. You can read about the studies. So what you're putting on your body is usually more harmful than the sun. Nobody should really sit out in the sun and bake for 8 hours a day regardless, even with sunscreen on. But they're starting to have studies that show that sunscreen can be dangerous.
Yeah, I read that coconut oil is the best to put on.
Yes.
And you would think different, but that's a natural thing again that
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Yeah, I was just talking to Linda on your staff here, and she was talking about the coconut oil. It is amazing stuff. People are ingesting a lot more coconut oil now. They're using it for their skin.
I use it every day.
They don't use anything but coconut oil for their skin, and people look amazing that use that, and it's no wonder.
My ears itch, and I put coconut oil in there, and it takes my itch away. I don't know,
Really?
I got this ear itch thing, and it takes it right away.
Wow.
It's just beautiful.
Haven't heard that before.
Yeah.
Use that, Bruce.
Yeah, can I coin
Do
that?
your
Yeah.
ears
Okay.
itch?
Now you say fish farms that most are missing omega-3.
Yeah, so what they're finding in the fish is that we can grow them in a farm, which is basically a self-contained lake. They feed it and make millions of fish that don't belong in millions of fish in that little area. But what they're finding is there's no nutrient like omega-3 and other nutrients, and scientists are trying to figure out why. These are actually kind of in the wild because they're in water, but they're not really in the wild. So they're not throwing off that amazing omega-3 that we need from the fish.
So
Isn't
we
it
don't
amazing?
get anything from the fish then that we eat the farm raised?
It's debatable.
We just had tilapia the other day.
Omega-3 is tough
And
to
they-
get.
Yeah, well, so is the salmon. A lot of it is
Yeah.
the farm raised
Yes,
salmon too. It's
farm-raised
not
salmon.
as red.
That's zero omega-3, which is
so it's-
basically why you eat salmon, other than the fatty,
Yeah.
the fatty fish oil, which is great for your body, great for
Yeah.
your joints.
So you're getting something.
You're
out of
getting
it.
something, yeah,
So it's almost fake fish.
right. I mean, that's unfortunately, but it's which way do you go? Do you eat it from the ocean, which are being polluted by China, like there's no tomorrow, or do you
Yeah.
eat it, from a farm raised? It's
I think I'll go farm raised.
yeah. You
I
just
think
have to
I'm
be-
getting the idea that God put us here temporarily.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Right?
Today's children will not outlive their parents.
First time in the history since we've been keeping score, shall we say, since the early 1900s. Every year we've gone up by a year, half a year and a half, 2 years, a year and a half. This is the first time ever that our kids are going to not live as long as we are. And we're in the mid-70s now, is our expected life expectancy. Men live a little less than women. But it's 100% food related.
Wow.
Because our kids are still kids, but now they're eating the processed foods, the GMOs, the genetically modified organisms, which are missing. The food profile is different with
Now,
a GMO.
All your vitamins are made in the USA because you're talking about Chinese-made vitamins.
Right.
And I don't think I trust that. Preston, can we go to number 14? This is the Women's Balance Supplements. And take a look at your screen because we're, again, covering the confusion about what you should have in your vitamin cabinet. And
Well, this is interesting.
Bruce, will you go down that list?
Yeah, so basically what we've done is we've taken the best 4 things for a woman and the best 4 things for men. And this is what it is right here. So the multivitamin, without a doubt, this is the biggest gap filler that you can do. It supplements all the micronutrients that you need that you're not going to get from your daily food intake. So this one's the most critical for women and men. Calcium is the second one down on this list. Everybody, all women know about calcium. Great for bone strength and teeth and
Now,
health.
there's all grades of calcium, right?
Osteoporosis, yes. And you know, there's all strengths of all this stuff. You can get it in liquid, and there's different variations. Oyster calcium, calcium citrate, you know, the liquid versions, the powder versions. So we have kind of all that. But what we've done is we've kind of made it real simple. The next one is fish oil, omega-3, 6, and 9, brain functioning, memory, cholesterol, blood pressure, arthritis, macular health, and all that is tied into fish health, and, or the fish oil. And what it does is it helps with the oxygen to the base of the brain, and that's what gives the brain more oxygen. A lot of times, Alzheimer's, what happens is that the vessel leading to the brain starts to close with age, and this helps the blood get through there and keeps that vessel open wider so it doesn't choke off the memory, shall we say. And the last thing for women is a vitamin D3.
Yeah.
80 to 85% of all adults are deficient in vitamin D. It affects over 3,000 genes in our bodies, fights infections, heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, and 50 more chronic diseases. That's a big one.
Preston, let's go to the men's. That's number 15. But again, it seems a lot shorter.
I was going to say.
Well, the men's, they just have taken away all the explanations, but it's the same thing. So the multi, without a doubt, is the big gap filler for men too. We're no different than women. The fish oil is the same thing. The thing that's different about a men's, and instead of the calcium, you're going to take a magnesium. And what they find is 80 to 85% of all men, and as you age, it even gets higher, are magnesium deficient.
I've taken magnesium for 25 years.
Oh, longer than that.
Longer than that? Yeah, every day.
Yeah, and there's over 100 benefits from magnesium, metabolism, sleep cycles, fights cardiovascular disease.
Keeps you regular.
Keeps you regular, your bowel functionality.
When you get my age, you really need that, folks.
And one major thing that magnesium does, which is great, is a detox of the system. So as you're gaining mercury and other pollutants that come through the world today, which is inevitable that we're going to get it from even our water sources and all that, this helps detoxify that and get it out of your system. And then the last thing would be the vitamin D3 again, because both men and women, we're so similar. We're only off by just a little bit, by 1 rib. So that's kind of what we're doing. So this is the top 4 supplements for the men.
Let's take a look on the screen and exactly what that looks like, because we got a visual of each of the women's, and take a look at the women's right now on the screen. There you go, and that's the ones that you're talking. Now, we've got a green on each end. What does that mean?
So a vitamin D3 is on the far left if you're looking at your screen, then the omega-3, then there's the big vitamin right in the middle, or on the right side, and then the calcium citrate plus on the far right.
And Bruce, I think the women need magnesium too.
Yeah, I mean, magnesium's also in the multivitamin, so you're going to get the double.
Okay.
You're going to get magnesium also in the multi.
Let's go to the men's on screen, and there we go.
Yeah, there's the men's, and the only thing that changes is the magnesium on the far right. And for the women, we're at $1.04 per day, and this is before the Herman and Sharron discount, 10%, of course. And the men's are at $1 a day. So basically it's 94 cents a day for all of these products and 90 cents a day.
Now, please don't give me that comment, I can't afford that. I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with you, except if you're living in Wyoming or someplace watching.
Yeah,
Let me spend a couple of hours with you, or maybe more than that, and just find out what you do with all your money. And I'll go, you just spent $5 right there. Well, I don't do that often. Well, how often do you do it? Well, I do that twice a week. Oh, really? Well, now we've got the $1 a day all covered, okay? I mean, it's amazing how people will say this kind of thing. You know what? You can do anything that you want to do when you want to do it. So you've got to get to that area of your life where you say, my body is very important. You just saw all the statistics of the body. If that body is that important, made by God, and we call it the temple of the Holy Spirit, would you throw garbage into the temple? Would you just take care of the temple any way you want to, and then you go over someday and say, well, I got to take better care of this temple. You know, I've gone up 50 pounds, and somehow the temple is kind of fatty right now, so I'm going to have to take that off. That's what we do, isn't it? I have often ask pastors when they're looking out over the congregation and you're looking at all of these people, different sizes in front of you, and you're going, it's pretty easy to figure out. Now, I know a skinny person sometimes can be the most unhealthy person on the planet.
That's right.
I get that, but not always. But many times you can look at them, you know, I mean, smokers many times are skinny as can be. So we understand that. But for the most part, when you look at a person and you're saying, what would you gauge them overweight? 50 pounds at least, or 40 pounds at least, 20 pounds at least, 15 pounds at least, sometimes 100 at least. That's pretty easy to figure out. You are destroying all of those great things that God gave us in that statistic, right?
Yeah, and we always say it's almost, you can't afford not to afford 90 cents a day or $1 a day, whatever it is.
Try a prescription. What do they spend?
Yeah, prescriptions and the harm that prescriptions do. What we have found in our 24 years now is when the body gets to a balance, when you take products, quality products, get your body to a balance, it heals itself. You have chronic pain, miraculously it'll go away. You have other things, high cholesterol, blood pressure, all these things. A lot of it can be taken care of by the body because God made this amazing body.
Yeah.
But we're not getting the food nutrient that we need to get it to the balance so the body can heal itself.
Okay, now that website on your screen, they can go to that, right, or call the number, 800-567, for the people that are not able to see this, 800-567-8122. Or you can go to, if you want to write this down, www.lifesourcevitamins.com. I'll give you that one more time when you're writing it. www.lifesourcevitamins.com. And this great magazine, they can get this, right, by going to that website. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, inside of this magazine, it is so well done. I mean, it is absolutely, it's top shelf. It is the best, laid out the best. I mean, make yourself available to it, and then remember to get on the plan that you're talking about, because this would eliminate that confusion.
Right. Yeah. Makes it pretty easy. You take this every day. I mean, I carry mine with me. I have a little packet that I carry with me,
Those are great, aren't they,
just like
packets?
everybody else should.
Yeah.
So you split them up throughout the day, and your body's absorbing and working and doing all this stuff that
Yeah.
it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
that it's made to do, it's exactly what's happening with it.
And when we leave town, I put my little zip bags and put all the stuff in there
I do
and,
the same
and
thing.
take it with me.
You can't skip. Your body needs to be on a system. It needs to be fed. It's just like eating.
Yeah, I am so boring because I have to be consistent, and it bothers me, when people do something one time and then you go, I thought you did that. Well, no, okay, yeah, I probably, and it's like, keep doing. If it works the first time, why not keep doing it?
Right.
What is the deal?
Oh, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. So all we need really is give it a try. This is not a sales pitch. This is a health pitch.
Because your money goes to help
Right.
Christian organizations.
Yeah, it's not about selling you product.
So you're not trying to get another home or a G5.
No.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with that. This has to do with health for fellow Christians.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And at $1 a day for all these products, it's worthy of them trying it. Yeah. And after 6 months, you'll be amazed the things that will be happening to your body. It just does. If you're 90, if you're 50, if you're 30, we have kids' chewables that are great for kids that don't eat well. They're made organically in the way that it should be without all this filler and stuff in there. They're just, we can help if you know kids that aren't getting enough to eat. Which
Vitamin C, very important.
Yes.
Very important. Yeah.
It's, if I had my druthers,
Yeah.
if I wasn't concerned with just at $1 a day, I would add a vitamin C without question. I would add the magnesium for the women, again, without question. But this is a great balance. Yeah. And then after 6 months, we'll address the issues that haven't been taken care of by this, which most of them will be. And then we add one little thing. If you still have cholesterol, maybe we add a red yeast rice with a little CoQ10 in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That adds.
Good starter.
This is the balance right here.
Let me tell you something. You can be the healthiest dude on the planet and not know Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. You're going to die. They're going to put you in a box and put you in the ground and cover you up. And you're going to spend eternity in hell. H-E-L-L. I know not too many people talk about that anymore, but that's where you go if you don't know Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. If you'll confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus, believe in your heart that God hath raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Confess him right now. Forgive me of all of my sins. That's how simple it is. I invite you right now to come into my heart and life. I give you my life. Do it today. God bless you in your decision. Let us know. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching It's Time. If you have recently made a decision for Christ, Herman and Sharron would like to hear from you.